The following program is made possible through the generous support of the California Mental Health Services Oversight and Accountability Commission.
This is my highest award. That is the Medal of Medical Merit. That's the one I'm most proud of.
I'm a Marine because I served my country and I fought for freedom for people.
I was drafted in 1967 in the Army, and I served in Vietnam.
I was young when my kid brother got blown away in Vietnam, and it took me 6 days to find his body. And it felt like when I came back, my country had moved. I had no idea who I was and where I was.
We are a giant country and a very big state that I think with a lot of complex systems that tries to do its best, but I think we can always do better. That's like saying, is our education system good enough? It's one of the best in the world, but we certainly have a long way to go. And I would say the same thing about veteran services.
Stand and salute our veterans.
When I got out the military, I was in my 30s. I'm in my 60s now, and I'm finally getting some help.
Transitioning out of 7 years in the Army, readjusting to civilian life was a struggle for Yvette Randolph.
This graveyard has been here forever, and at one time when I was homeless, this was my home. I slept here, and I figured would nobody bother me here, and nobody didn't. I kept walking past and forth, back and forth. I saw a little hole, and I just crawled in and found a spot.
Like many homeless women vets, Yvette also couch surfed and lived in cars.
There's a lot of us out here that shouldn't be out here. Some want to be. Some of us are so programmed now that, it wouldn't even make a difference.
Gerald Escobar has been chronically homeless and mentally ill since leaving the Army after Vietnam.
Gerald, it's me, Eddie. What's up, buddy?
Eddie Yanez is a navigator with Sacramento Steps Forward, a nonprofit helping homeless people. Eddie's a former Marine, and that helps him earn trust with Gerald.
I care a lot about Gerald, sometimes too much.
Veterans comprise about 1/3 of our homeless population, and many are in dire need of medical and mental health services. Eddie calls a cab and wants Gerald to go to the Veterans Hospital.
Come on, Gerald, let's go so we can get on that cab.
Gerald's greatest pride of ownership, memories of serving his country.
I was drafted and I got a year added on because I was good at what I did. I was needed at wartime.
You're not going to leave?
No, sir.
Yeah, let's just cancel it.
A few weeks later, Gerald is in jail.
Just before the interview that we did with him, he was in need of medical attention. So they needed to take him into custody so that he can get some help.
Yvette refuses to end up in jail. 2 weeks ago, she did suffer a heart attack.
I go out there to the hospital.
Yvette sees a cardiologist through the Veterans Administration. And right now, Yvette is getting a place to live.
Is it a surprise? Huh?
Best surprise I could ever get.
Okay. So, just want to let you know that much, okay? So you're going to be in your own little spot. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay?
Nobody, man or woman, who served our country should even ever have to go through that.
Yvette and her dog Turbo jump into a van. They're going home.
Hi, we're making it.
To be able to place her into a home and to where she could take a hot shower and get cleaned up and be able to, do her hair and be able to brush her teeth, and it's awesome.
A bed.
We don't give up on any of our vets.
Nearly 22 million veterans live in this country. California has the highest number, 2 million servicemen and women.
Anybody that served in the uniform of this country is a veteran. That means veteranus, it means the old ones. Old not by time or life, old by experience.
Certainly being a veteran is one component of my identity, and I have a personal as well as a professional desire to help.
Assemblywoman Susan Telemonte Segman is one of the first women veterans working as a lawmaker at the California State Capitol.
I've been a big advocate of trying to make military education, which is excellent and really trains you to be able to apply that when they come back. I was a combat medic, was able to assist and even do some surgical procedures myself. Coming back out, I couldn't do that with an RN degree. It was hard for me to find my place, and that's why I transitioned to being a social worker, so I was still able to work in hospitals.
From her district office in Stockton, Assemblywoman Eggman acknowledges women are playing a larger role in the military than ever before. There are 2 million women vets.
The military has historically been a man's world, so it certainly faces challenges.
200,000 women veterans live in California.
I went to the military because I wanted to have an education, I wanted to travel.
Tina Hayden had a dream, but that dream soon turned into a nightmare.
I was 18, I was very timid. I didn't go too far. My basic training, I was raped by my senior drill sergeant.
We know that there's a high degree of rape that occurs on military bases still, and people still not wanting to talk about it, especially if sometimes the abuser was somebody who was over you.
I was scared, so at that time I didn't tell anybody.
Tina started drinking heavily, and then the unthinkable. She was raped again.
The second one was brutal. I was tied up, and I was walking home from the bar, and I felt like it was my fault because I was drinking. So I did talk to a female officer. I was transferred to field artillery. I wasn't treated very well. I got pregnant by one of the 3 men that raped me. I found out later on that the pregnancy was in my records, but she never did turn in the paperwork about the rape.
1 in 5 women will experience military sexual trauma. They call it MST. 1 in 100 men will also be assaulted.
I think the biggest misnomer is it's not just females. There's a significant amount of males that are also MST survivors.
Stigma and shame often prevent the reporting of MST.
The first time was senior drill sergeant. He said, "Who are they going to believe, me or you?"
Depressed, Tina got out of the military. Drug addiction took hold, and then homelessness.
And went to jail, and then that's when I came in contact with New Directions, and they saved my life.
Located in the VA complex in Los Angeles, New Directions has women-specific programs. All veterans are given mental health services, housing, and drug treatment.
All medical issues are covered by the Veterans Administration, but we assist veterans in a variety of other ways, including job placement, getting their legal issues straightened away, and helping them basically reacclimate to society, reunite with their families.
It's a spiral. Once they unfortunately start using the poor coping skills like substance abuse, what typically happens is they first burn out their families, they burn out their relationships, they burn out their friends, they lose their job, and unfortunately that's when they become homeless.
Because of all the trauma, Tina didn't see herself as a veteran. Veronica Olson felt the same.
My calling was to serve my country, so at almost 19, I joined the Air Force. My supervisor was trying to hook up with me and would plow me full of alcohol even though I was underage. That I was the only female in the command post. A command post is a high-profile job, and I would be held to a different standard. I got in trouble for drinking, so I'm going to drink more. I lost my mind, and I wanted to hurt myself.
Veronica was put in a psychiatric hospital before getting an honorable discharge.
The drinking escalated quite a bit, and I eventually graduated to drugs. And in my eyes, I was like, why would I go to the VA? That's for veterans. I wasn't trying to kill myself, but I sure was hoping and praying for death. And one day, my dad told me about New Directions. And I don't know why he was putting so much effort into trying to find me help. Just hearing a few sentences on the phone from this woman that cared and considered me a veteran, I just broke down and cried. I was so ready for help. When I got here, there were women my age and older who had served in the military and had similar problems and similar experiences that loved me unconditionally and had my back the way people had when I was in the Air Force. It felt good again. I felt good again. And my life has gotten better ever since.
Trauma is held in certain portions of the brain, and it can come out in ways, such as impulsivity, anger, sexual promiscuity, all these different forms of behaviors.
I am a veteran. I'm a veteran, and I don't have to say it with shame anymore.
It's not about the pain, it's about the sorrow that we're leaving people acclimated to something that they didn't create, they didn't run, and they didn't terminate, but it really damaged.
I saw a lot of horrible things that still wake me up in the middle of the night.
Jeffrey Galatioto served 4 combat missions in Iraq with the Marine Corps.
When I was in the service, I was going through my PTSD treatments. I was on medications, and when I got out, everything just stopped. I woke up in the morning, and a dump truck ended up coming by. And dump trucks actually sound a lot like these vehicles that they have in Iraq and Afghanistan, and it automatically triggered me. I actually committed child endangerment. I ended up putting a mark on my oldest son's side. I didn't know it until I saw the pictures.
Jeffrey was referred to Veterans Court. California has 19 Veterans Courts. Most are comprehensive and include treatment for underlying psychological disorders.
I'm talking about PTSD, traumatic brain injury, substance abuse, and the effects of sexual assault. Those are the 4 criteria for eligibility in the Veterans Court. And the veteran has to be suffering from one of those conditions or one or more, and there has to be a connection between that condition and the criminal conduct. We have a deputy district attorney, assistant public defender, a probation officer, and we have a liaison from the local Office of Veterans Affairs. And then we have mentors.
I was Jeffrey Galatioto's mentor. And he graduated today, and I'm pretty happy about that.
Superior Court Judge David Abbott helped launch Veterans Court in 2014. A veteran himself, the judge never tires of graduation day.
I've been here for this program for about 2 years now, so it's been a while.
Mark Espinosa has PTSD from fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Some people who go through a very terrorizing experience when they are in combat, and they find a way to move on without much of a difficulty at all. And then there are others that simply can't cope.
I had to learn the hard way. I'm glad I did, because I had the opportunity to get treatment and learn a lot about the VA and the treatments that they offer through a program like this.
We graduate them.
That means a clean record, close supervision, mental health treatment, sobriety. Veterans Court is reducing recidivism while rebuilding lives.
My record looks pretty good. It looks like a new start.
I can honestly say I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you.
Ironically, the emotions of war are evident both inside as well as outside the courthouse.
I sleep at the Sacramento County Courthouse.
Donald Turner is an ex-Marine living with PTSD. He's been homeless off and on for years.
Sometimes I don't eat for a week.
Post-traumatic stress disorder is a mental health condition that's triggered by a terrifying event, either experiencing it or witnessing it.
I went to Desert Storm, and I got there, and all I saw was sand and more sand and a lot of craziness.
Donald enlisted when he was 23 and served 8 years.
I had to shoot children, which, you know, sort of messes with you when you have to kill a kid because he has an AK-47 with 30 rounds in a clip and he's pointed at you. There's nothing nice shooting a kid. There's nothing nice shooting anybody.
Donald says suicide has crossed his mind more than once.
I think about it because the things I've done and the things I see.
Veterans commit suicide at double or triple the rate of the general public. Street navigator Eddie is helping Donald, Marine to Marine.
We have an interim bed for you.
Now?
Right now.
Yes. If it wasn't for Eddie, I'd be lost.
Eddie and field supervisor Patrick Cornell are lining up housing and services for Donald. And of course, his dog Bandit.
My Bandit. He's the love of my life.
Paperwork processed, Patrick and Eddie drive Donald to his new home.
Yeah, I have hope. If I didn't, I wouldn't still be alive. I'd have gave up a long time ago.
I never get tired of thank you for service and welcome home.
Greater awareness is translating into more housing and services. One example is Mather Veterans Village in Northern California, located near the VA. It's run by the Veterans Resource Center.
That's the greatest challenge, is providing our veterans with the resources they need to be successful.
Jason Henry oversees another resource center. It also provides housing and services to homeless vets. He was in the Navy and understands.
Let veterans help veterans. That's what we do here, and it's amazing.
Patrick Hussman was an Army Ranger in Vietnam. He's employed by the Resource Center.
Everything you do in life affects you. So if you go through war and you kill people and you get shot and anybody tells you it doesn't affect you is lying to you.
Now clean and sober, a few years ago, drugs and alcohol put Patrick behind bars.
Don't put your veterans in prison. Okay.
Well, there may be a million different opportunities out there for you, but the information is not readily available. It's one of the reasons why we're called the Veterans Resource Centers.
Anthony Hill was in the Navy during Vietnam and is a client of the Resource Center.
I'm challenged by addiction, and I'm also bipolar.
Sobriety and mental health treatment coupled with a garden are growing Anthony's spirits.
You know, the planting the seed and the growing of the fruit, and you produce good fruit and clear the weeds away, and there's a lot of parallels in that garden to life.
The Veterans Resource Center has 14 sites throughout Northern California, Nevada, and Arizona.
It's painful sometimes to bring up the memories, but if we don't honor the dead, they don't have any voice anymore.
A Huey helicopter used in Vietnam travels a sacred mission this chilly, windy morning in the San Francisco Bay Area. It's carrying Gold Star family members.
How'd you do, Roxy?
Great. Gold Star Mom means that I lost a loved one, my son, while on active duty. He was killed in Afghanistan.
Today we're doing our 6th golf tournament here at Calippi, and the fundraiser is for our Gold Star parents.
Michelle Miller is a Blue Star mom.
The Gold Star moms are women and dads who have lost a son or daughter while serving in our United States Armed Forces. And their stars were once blue, and once they are killed in action or lost while serving, then their star becomes gold.
Something time never heals, and you know, it's time stops. He was 23 back then. He'll always be 23. There isn't a minute or a second that goes by that I'm not thinking about him.
I'm a Gold Star dad. My boy, Specialist Joseph A. Graves, gave his life for his country on 25 July of '06. And one of the things that I don't try to do is understand it. I just have to accept it. It's extremely important that we engage with each other and support each other, because if you get stuck in that grieving process, you get into what's called toxic grief, and a lot of anger and other unhealthy habits can occur.
Kevin Graves recently returned to the region of Afghanistan where his son died.
I was able to gather some soil and bring it back and share it with the other Gold Star families so that they could have some of the soil of where their loved one had sacrificed and shed his blood. And it's all part of the journey that I'm on. People said, "Oh, have you gotten closure?" Well, you never get closure.
Ray Allen is an aircraft specialist who served in the Marines.
I enlisted in 1985. Was fresh out of high school.
Planes still his passion. Ray works for a private aircraft company here at Edwards Air Force Base in Southern California. While in the military, he was assigned to Desert Shield.
We deployed to Saudi Arabia, and I was supporting a heavy lift helicopter squadron, and we were supporting the front line with ammunition and supplies. I'm a very proud Marine that happens to be gay. The Marine Corps is a family, and we take care of each other. And when you're lying to somebody about who you are and you're not truthful about that, your bond as a family weakens. It did lead to a lot of depression. You know, my self-esteem wasn't there.
Ray was out of the military before Don't Ask, Don't Tell took effect.
And that policy just gave a legal platform for the military to extradite people out and to find them, hunt them down, and process them out.
More people were kicked out after Don't Ask, Don't Tell than before. I think statistically that has been proven. Yeah, so it was a great thing when that finally was abolished.
Colonel Patsy Thompson celebrates a glorious military career, having served nearly 38 years in the Air Force and National Guard as chief nurse. She's also lesbian.
Being in the military was tough because I had to always be careful what I said, who I said it to, because I didn't have LGBT friends.
Colonel Thompson met Barbara Brass more than 30 years ago, and they fell in love. But the couple was forced to deny their relationship because of the military.
There's shame there. You're feeling shameful for being who you are.
A bathroom door disguised as a mirror provided a secret passageway from one bedroom to another. The couple became experts at hiding.
Well, I think things have certainly gotten a lot better. I think we have a ways to go, but I never thought that I would live to see all that has happened in a positive way for LGBT soldiers.
Out and proud, yeah.
It's just such a free feeling anymore. It's wonderful.
Our work is not done. We veterans and the family members need to reach back to the veterans and the new veterans. We're not a unique thing. War is war.
Shelter to Soldiers saves 2 lives at a time.
We adopt dogs from local rescues and shelters. We train them over 12 to 18 months to become psychiatric service dogs, and we place those trained dogs with post-9/11 combat veterans.
Graham Bloom is a dog trainer in San Diego. He and his wife Kiri zero in on a beautiful white dog that shows great promise. They decide to take him. He'll start training soon.
A psychiatric service dog is a dog trained to alleviate symptoms of post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injury, hypervigilance, insomnia, depression, generalized anxiety. Some of the specific tasks that psychiatric service dogs do: blocking, so creating space between our handler, our veteran recipient, and strangers.
Thank you. Good boy. We've had one veteran wife say that it gave her husband back and it gave her children their father back.
Retired from the Navy following a traumatic brain injury, Vic Martin couldn't leave his house.
This room, this house, was my prison. I saw the pain in my own family's eyes that I couldn't participate in anything.
Graham placed psychiatric service dog Kira with Vic.
What Shelter to Soldier has done has been to give me my life back. Kira has helped me to be able to do things that I would have never been able to do. When I have night terrors, she comes into bed and lays on me and licks me.
She's a special girl.
She's so special to me.
It's a team, and you guys are the definition of a team.
The Marines deployed Benjamin Kilhefner to Afghanistan. He was medically retired in 2014 because of PTSD.
A lot of depression, a lot of survivor's guilt, meaning that a lot of people that I've witnessed pass away in front of me, and I still feel like I could have done more. You know, I've lost a lot of friends to veteran suicide, so I've lost probably about 10 to 15.
Ben's psychiatric service dog Tank gives him security, a feeling of safety and joy.
It's tough. Like, I'm holding back now, which I shouldn't be holding back my tears, but it's one of those things I try to really take pride now of how much I've done.
No one but the handler is allowed to touch a working dog. Though appearing relaxed, Tank remains on high alert.
He knows he's there for me, and I know he's there for me. It makes me feel grounded. He's amazing.
To order a copy of this program, call 888-814-3923 or visit kvie.org. This program was made possible through the generous support of the California Mental Health Services Oversight and Accountability Commission.